What's up, everybody, and welcome to All the Things Sort of Truth. I'm Nate, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Jade.
Hi.
And we are about to get into the first of many epic novels by Terry Goodkind, Wizard's First Rule.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Now, we had said this in the teaser episode. We just happened to stumble across this series of books, and throughout reading them, we've completely fallen in love, fanboyed as hard as people can fanboy, and we love these books.
Yeah, I once said that I wanted to take them apart and then roll around in all the pieces, and so here we are doing that.
That's right, and that's part of where we got the namesake of this show, All the Things.
Yeah.
Because we just love all the things, and we want to talk about all the things.
Exactly.
And, you know, when you try and do that and your friends get sick of you, you take to podcasting. So here we are.
With all our new friends.
That's right.
Well, speaking of Terry Goodkind, he does have some new books coming out.
That's right. The Children of Dahara series.
Which is awesome timing for us, because we get to ride that wave with all of you.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping, people start reading that series and pick up on the fact that we're doing this over here, so they should bring it on over.
And it's really exciting because I'm pretty sure that Terry had told us all that he wasn't going to come back to Richard and Kaylin again, and here he is.
I know. Richard and Kaylin were the centerpiece, and although he likes to write stories on the fringe of the main track of the story, whenever he announces something new, it's always like, yes!
So, if we're ready to just get into it?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
I wanted to make sure that I brought up the covers of the book before we got deep into the actual storyline. Because there has been multiple covers for the book. The one that Terry actually likes, I believe, is the artwork done by Keith Parkinson. It's the one where you see Richard and Kaylin, the two heroes of the story, walking on a bridge of some kind in front of a waterfall, and it's very majestic.
Everything looks calm, which is basically the antithesis of this book, but it's still a nice painting.
I want to make sure I get the name right. The original artwork was done by a man named David Beekman, I believe. It is completely different than the artwork that we end up with. And I can see why Terry wasn't crazy about it. It's really in your face, though, so I'm going to show it to you.
Okay. Whoa! That is a lot different. There is some shit going on.
Yes.
They got a dragon. There's weird children hanging out in the background for some reason that I don't understand. And also, I'm not really sure where this takes place. Like, I've read the whole book. I know all of the places, but I'm not really sure where that's meant to be.
Not to give any spoilers, I believe it's probably where we end.
Okay.
The book.
Okay.
But I recognize, I think, 4 people on the cover. There are 2 that I'm like, I don't know who the hell that is.
Which, I mean, that might contribute to why Terry wasn't crazy about this cover. Like, you can't just add people that weren't there. We know that didn't work very well for Harry Potter.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. It's really nice that you do see the dragon on the cover, because the dragon does contribute a little bit to the story. But the characters also don't really look how they do here. Awesome picture. Probably doesn't fit, though. I understand why he wasn't super crazy about it.
Yeah, it is a great painting. Like, I would love to own that painting. But, yeah, you can understand why he's not crazy about it.
There was one more version of the cover art, too, that was actually an image from the TV show that's associated with the series. And that's Legend of the Seeker. And it's got Craig Horner on the cover, along with Bridget Regan, and I don't know what else. But I know he's on there with a sword. Very badass.
Which I'm not really sure how he feels about the artwork that they used for the show, or well, to really say it, I'm not sure how he feels about the casting for the show either. It does say a little bit later, but the guy who plays Richard in the show looks nothing like what he's described as in the book.
Right.
And Terry has a pretty keen eye for stuff like that. So I haven't read anything, but if I do find his comment on those characters, I will definitely bring him up again in a later episode because I'd love to know how he felt. The thing that I think is funny about the covers on the Sword of Truth series is that Terry Goodkind has actually had a history of not liking the covers. Real recently, he had to come out and kind of defend something he said, which I don't know if it was entirely necessary for him to defend himself, but he was like, I don't like the cover. And then he had to come back out and say, no, the guy did a good job on the painting itself, because they are actual paintings that they use for the covers of these books.
Right.
It was done very, very well, but it just doesn't really show what the book is about. Or it doesn't grab the feeling of the book well enough for Terry's liking. And you guys will probably see this as we get into these episodes. There's a lot of feeling in these books, and he's going for a very specific thing in each book.
Right. And the cover you're talking about is for the Chronicles of Nikki. And there were some actual problems with the character of Nikki on that cover, that she wouldn't wear high heels. She's there were issues, but it was in the way he worded it, and I think he actually made a poll about it. He's very passionate about it, and he wasn't very tactful in the way that he was like bashing the publishers for giving the directive to the artist.
Oh, right. There wasn't enough detail given.
Right. So the guy did a good job based on what he was given, but Terry didn't say that. He just said, this sucked, right?
Pretty much.
So you can't blame him on one hand, but on the other hand, I could see where where the artist was a little peeved when a very popular artist or very popular author was bashing his work, essentially.
Right. And in his defense, he was saying, I did what I was paid to do. So I could see where he was kind of taken aback by Terry kind of coming after him for his art. But like I said, he did come back out and say, hey, no, the guy did a good job for what he was given. He just wasn't given enough to do a proper job.
And, I mean, he also had his work kind of slaughtered in the TV show. I mean, you can kind of understand why he wouldn't really feel super excited to see his characters portrayed weirdly again. And I think that you could forgive the character differences if the storyline of the TV show wasn't so ridiculously crazy and way off from the books. There's stuff that they took out that they needed to leave in, and there's so much stuff they added that was just... Don't get me started.
Yeah, for those of you who are aware, you already know that the show deviates wildly from the books. And I think that this would call for some extra episodes delving into the differences between the show and the books. We did that with our other podcast, All the Things Harry Potter. We did a movie comparison night that I thought was really cool. And I definitely think that this is something we could do for this show as well. There being 2 seasons of the show, there's plenty to go through. And short of having the same characters, there's almost nothing else similar. It is entertaining, though. I like the show a lot. I can't really watch it with the books in mind. Or, for that matter, I can't really watch it with Jade in the room because she sighs heavily every 30 seconds. Because, well, that's just not the way it happened.
Because it's wrong.
It's wrong, guys. You done screwed the pooch on that one.
It is a good show, but I mean, Caitlin's eyes aren't even green.
Jade has a thing about green eyes and magic.
Yeah.
I think this stands to be brought up. If a book is written with a character that has green eyes, if they are going to be on a screen, they damn well better have green eyes or Jade will hate it.
Because Yeah. Why not? Do it the right way.
It is important, those minute details, and especially for a book like this, where Terry really does get down to the nitty-gritty of every detail, and yeah, they matter. Something like that might seem arbitrary is actually really important.
Plus, it's like a sign of magic. Green eyes is like a sign of magic, and it's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. Wear some contacts, people. Figure it out. So, now that we have that kind of out of the way, we've talked about the covers. We know that Terry prefers the one that most of you probably have seen. And it is really good artwork. Why don't we crack that cover and talk about the book?
All right. Here we go into chapter 1.
Yep.
I'm just going to kind of give a real quick synopsis, and we're going to break some things down from there. Following his father's murder, Richard goes into the forest to look for clues. He comes across an odd-looking vine, a mysterious beast in the sky, and a woman in a white dress.
These first couple chapters are just setting the stage.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot. I mean, there are some pretty important pieces of the story that happen here, but it's, like you're saying, it's all set up.
So let's get into the important things that happen.
Yeah. Before we go any further, I just wanted to add a real quick note. Hopefully, those of you listening to this podcast right now have read the chapter. The reason we did the whole synopsis at the beginning is so everybody's clear on basically what takes place during the chapter. From here on out, there are going to be no spoiler warnings. We hope you have read the book. If not, you might want to stop, go pick up a copy, go get the Audible, and listen to it, because it's no holds barred from here on in.
At least for the first chapter.
Right. We will try not to go too much further past here, because literally almost everything is interlocked one way or another. But yeah, I just wanted to add that real quick, that if you haven't read it yet, we're going to ruin some shit for you.
Then you're failing book club. Anyways.
It starts off with our hero, Richard, walking through the woods, as he does. It does say in a little bit, but Richard is a woods guide. People pay him so he can guide them through the woods. They don't get fucking lost. It seems to say that he's got a lot of knowledge of plant life, animal life. It says that his friend Zed taught him all about this, even if he doesn't know the proper name for things. He knows what they are and can identify if something's dangerous or not, or edible. Maybe something could help you. He's definitely a dude you would want with you if you were going hunting or out in nature for any period of time.
But that's why when he sees the vine, he's like, what the fuck is that?
It's got tendrils and pods at the end of it, but it does say that it almost looks like the head of a snake.
Right. And he's seen it before.
Yes, he's only seen it before in one place. That is a blue jar that Richard and his father used to communicate with each other. Now, Richard's father was a trader, and he would go out and find special or rare items, bring them back home, and then it seems like a lot of notable people, rich people, let's just say it, would come for these items, and that's how he made his living. So while he was gone, or when he left, if Richard wasn't home, he would put something in the blue jar so that Richard would know where to look and then get the message from his dad. You know, maybe where he was or what he was looking for. And more recently, his father had left a sprig of this snake vine in the blue jar.
Right. Richard has a brother. His name is Michael. He's kind of a dick.
Right. Michael is